affair. This is what she said, he said. After all of this, after they questioned everybody and found out the background of Betty's life and what's been going on, then they figured out they knew what the motive was for Betty to kill her husband. And they are saying that motive was that she wanted to get his $6 million estate. She wanted to get his money. And, they probably had insurance money and she wanted to get that too. So with all this evidence basically stacked up against them, Betty Wilson, Peggy Lowe, and James White were all charged with the murder of Dr. Jack Wilson. While Peggy was waiting for her trial, her neighbors actually paid a $300 bail to get her out of prison, and then Betty ended up staying in jail. $300? That's all it was to get her out? That's crazy. But anyway, the prosecution decided to give the twins 2 different trials. So they wouldn't be tried together. They gave them 2 separate trials, and then James had his own trial. So on March 2nd, 1993, Betty Wilson went to court. So James's confession, which was recorded, and then everything that was found at his home and at her home were presented as evidence against her. But what played the biggest part in her trial was basically the fact that she was unfaithful. She cheated, and the way people saw that she treated Dr. Wilson, that came into play and everything like that. So she was just the cheating, unfaithful, just horrible wife. That's how it was shown. Betty and Dr. Wilson's former housekeeper, she testified against her, and she testified that Betty and Dr. Jack, or Dr. Wilson, slept in 2 different bedrooms. So not even 2 different beds, 2 different bedrooms, and that Betty usually had guys at the house. And then a friend of Betty's, a former friend of Betty's, she testified against Betty. And she said that she was asked by Betty to help her kill Jack, which seems like the logical thing to do. I don't know, in every story we do, somebody's asking a bunch of people, can you help me kill this person? Like, don't bring anybody into your stuff. And secondly, if you're trying to get away with something, stop announcing it to the world. What is wrong with you people? Anyways, so yeah, Betty's friend asked her to help her kill her husband, Dr. Wilson. And multiple witnesses testified that they saw James near Betty and Dr. Wilson's house. And then, remember, he went to Lake Guntersville to get up the money? So the Lake Guntersville State Park security guard confirmed that he saw James come and get a book. Now, he didn't know what was in the book, but he saw, maybe there was camera, maybe he actually saw it with his eyes, but he saw it happen. So all of that was confirmed. And then the prosecution argued that since Betty would have been the beneficiary of her husband's will, that was basically enough for her to want him dead. Like, you get all this money, that's enough of a motive for her to want him dead. Well, for her, not rational people. But then the defense argued that James's testimony could not be taken on as a credible testimony since he actually went in and changed his story. Even if it was just a little bit, he changed his story a few times, and he didn't know some aspects of the crime, and there was just some iffy things within his story. So they were arguing about that. And the defense also tried to say that the witnesses who testified against Betty, he was saying that, they're lying. So, all right, case dismissed, Your Honor. Right? So after 2 days, the jury found Betty Wilson guilty of capital murder, and then she was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Now it's time for Peggy, the sister, it's time for Peggy Lowe's trial, which was actually 6 months after her twin sister Betty's. So she said she was innocent, of course, and they brought the same evidence that they brought against Betty. But the only difference in Peggy's trial was that she had a different judge, different jury, and I guess a different character as well, because I mean she is a different person. So what they brought to the stand was that she was just a lovely first grade teacher. She was devoted to her husband, and people from her church were actually waiting outside the court. They wanted to defend Peggy's innocence. They wanted to say she was innocent. She would never do something like that. In this trial, the jurors didn't buy James's confession because of the same reason that I gave before, that his memories were not accurate. He didn't know, he didn't know he didn't remember what he killed Dr. Wilson with. His story changed. They found the clothes later on, not before, stuff like that. And then forensic analysis testified for the defense that they said two people committed the murder, and it happened in the garage, and it didn't happen with the baseball bat, but instead it happened with something else that nobody really knew what it was. Just a blunt object. That's usually what they say, blunt object, but they don't know what it is. So for Peggy, after only 2 hours of deliberating, the jury for Peggy found her not guilty of the murder of Dr. Jack Wilson. So in 1994, now this was a year after, everything went through, everything went on, James recanted his confession. He said that the twins weren't involved in the case at all, and it was all him, and, he just recanted his confession. When he recanted his confession, they were like, oh, well, I gotta tell you, what you told us in 92 for us to take the death penalty off the table, you know what that means then? That means you lied to the police, and death penalty's right back on the table then. So then they're like, you sure you want to go through with this? And he was like, yeah. So then they were like, okay, tell us what happened then. And he was like, you know what? I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth. He went and pled the fifth. So he didn't say anything. He didn't confirm or deny or anything else. And so he just ended up staying in prison after that. And actually, last year, he was up for parole. But he's still in jail, so I guess they denied his parole. Both of the twins, to this day, are saying they're innocent. James said they had nothing to do with it. Betty got remarried in prison, and Peggy was her maid of honor. And that's how it ended. So James is in prison, Betty's in prison, Peggy's out, and Dr. Jack Wilson is dead. So my question to you is, James seems to be really protecting these twins. Do you think there's a way that the twins are getting to him to tell him what to say, what to do, stuff like that? Because I think the whole clothes with the bag thing, clothes in the bag at the pool, since they didn't find it before, that could have been planted there. And then they were like, yeah, tell him to find this, so he could be the one who's, accused of everything. So, and then the fact that he didn't, I guess in the heat of the moment, you might not have remembered what you hit somebody with. I don't think so. I think you would totally remember. In the heat of the moment, the thing happens, but in hindsight, you remember. If it's something as crazy as murder, you're going to remember what you did. You're going to remember what you hit that person with. You're going to remember what you beat that person to death with. And then he didn't remember what he killed him with. So he didn't even remember supposedly that he stabbed him. So, and then the clothes, like I said. And then he recanted to say that the sisters didn't have anything to do with it. So I'm thinking, this is just me, and y'all tell me what y'all think in the comments below. I'm thinking he had something to do with it. Something. I don't know. Something to do with it. But I think the twins are the one who did it. Both of them. Or maybe the twins did it all and then just told him to say that he did it, and we'll give you $5,000 to say that you did it. Or maybe Betty did it with James, but Peggy knew about it. Something like that. But one of the twins or both of the twins were definitely involved, and I think James had a less of an involvement in this murder. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Tell me what y'all think in the comments below. But I think both twins should have been in jail. Maybe it was it would have been better if they had done a trial with both sisters together. I think that probably would have been better. So then they both would have been in jail. And James needed to stay in jail also because, whether he aided in some way. He aided in some way. This is what I think. So all three of them should have been in jail because Dr. Jack Wilson is dead. And for Betty to be out, for Peggy to be out, and I don't know. It's not sitting right with me how this story ended. What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. I don't have Char to ask what she thinks. So I'm asking you, our listeners, what do you think in the comments below? Do you think it ended Betty being in prison, Peggy out, James in prison? Do you think that they caught the people? Do you think this is the right people who did it? Or do you think maybe James should have been out and the twins should have been in? What do y'all think? Let me know in the comments below. So this is the crazy story of a pair of twins and a dude who wanted a doctor dead for $6 million. If you like this episode, definitely go to Apple Podcasts and give us 5 stars. That'd be great. Although it was just me reporting this, talking to you, that's still good. Give us 5 stars and you can say whatever you want. Like, Kaya's just like, why is she talking to herself? Why is she acting like I'm going to answer her question? Where's Char? We need Char back. Say whatever you want in the description. But like I said before, this does help bring us up in the chart. So we'd be ever so grateful with you if you were to do that. Don't forget to visit us on patreon.com and become a subscriber for crazy bonus episodes and to be labeled as a producer at the end of the show. Like here, your name would be here. So you get bonus episodes, the craziest crime roundups, Florida man stories, relationship advice, relationship Q&A, relationship blah, 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 crazy crime, crazy Char stories, producer notes, and so much more. If you wanted to go to patreon.com/love and murder and become a subscriber of $3 and above. Follow us on social media, facebook.com/relationship crime, Instagram at Love Murder Podcast, and our brand new Facebook fan group. Just search Love and Murder fan page in Facebook. We also have merch. We've got merch. So go to loveandmurder.threadless.com for all your true crime merch. We have shirts. We have pillows. We have blankets. We have shower curtains. We have phone cases. We have stickers. We have magnets. We have mugs. And we have travel mugs. So you want your true crime merch? Then visit loveandmurder.threadless.com. And if you want to support us for free, it's so easy. It'll only take, I promise you, like 10 seconds. Hit the share button and share it on your social media. Hit share it on Facebook. Hit share it on Twitter. Hit share it on Pinterest. Hit share it on Instagram. Just share. Takes 10 seconds and it's absolutely free and it helps us out. And that is all I have for y'all today. Don't forget to let me know what y'all think about this crime in the comments below. Since I don't have Char to talk to, I'm talking to you, my friends. Tell me in the comments below. And before I lose my mind, because I'm talking to a computer actually, I just want to end this show with, don't forget, all love and no murder, y'all. See y'all next week, and hopefully Char will be with me so you don't have to deal with the crazy ramblings of Ky. Peace out. Good night.